Hello and welcome to Loppy Loves. If you haven't been here before, my name is Lauren and on this channel I talk about my life as an immigrant living in Iceland. In today's video I am going to be talking about something that affects a lot of foreigners living here, but it's not really spoken about that much, I've noticed, and it's something that I have been experiencing recently, and that is the times when Iceland becomes too much and life in Iceland becomes a bit overwhelming and you start to question if it was the right decision to move here and if you want to stay here. And all these just confusing times that we go through sometimes. This isn't the first time that I've experienced it, it won't be the last time that I've experienced it, but this is the most I've experienced it, the biggest feeling of overwhelm that I've had since I moved here over the last few weeks. So in this video I'm going to be just talking about what I've been experiencing recently, like the reasons why I have been feeling that Iceland is just getting to me a little bit, and what to do when that happens. And I'd like to know in the comments below if this is something that you experience wherever you live. You know, I'm sure that this is a problem for anyone who moves abroad or moves away from their hometown, and it might even be a problem for people who live in their hometown. So just let me know if you've ever experienced anything like this and what you did to get through it. So yeah, Iceland sometimes does feel very overwhelming, and the way that I would describe it when I experience this, it kind of feels like cabin fever to me. I feel trapped and just stuck on this island sometimes. And obviously, of course, I love living in Iceland. There's no question about that. But there are just certain aspects of it that are not amazing. Overall, my life in Iceland is so much better than it was in the UK. But there are, of course, aspects of the UK that I do miss now that I live in Iceland. And I think a lot of foreigners here don't really talk about it as much as they maybe should. It's only come to my attention recently that this is something that a lot of foreigners here go through, just because I've heard more people mentioning it. But I think a lot of people get scared because there is like a small group of people, not just Icelanders but also foreigners that have been here for a long time, who seem to have the opinion you have to be like 100% pro-Iceland and everything has to be perfect, you can't say a word against it, and just tell people to move back to their home countries if they say anything slightly negative about Iceland. So yeah, I think this kind of scares people into not talking about it, which is a shame because, you know, it is actually more common than I realised personally. So usually people get this feeling in the winter, especially after a long winter like we've had. The winter just gone, and I actually didn't get the feeling in the winter. I think the first time I really felt it was during COVID, when I just couldn't go home for a long time. And now it's the summer, and it is, well, I say it's finally properly summer. Our summer has come really late this year, and at the moment we're having like really sunny day followed by like a really rainy day, or maybe a couple of rainy days and then a couple of sunny days. Today it is rainy, and yesterday was also very rainy. But yeah, I started to get this feeling a few weeks ago when it was sunny and good weather, and yeah, so this year for me it hasn't been the winter that causes it, but the winter does cause it in quite a few foreigners. Yeah, so I think for me personally, there's been a few things that have just triggered this wave of Iceland getting to me. I think the first one is my job. So it's summer in my job, and you know, my company is not particularly well managed anyway, and then in the summer we have all of the summer staff and it's a little bit chaotic, and it's been you know, the summer is always worse than the rest of the year in my opinion. Yeah, and it's just been getting to me, like the disorganisation and just the chaos of working here, and I kind of Even though British companies are a lot stricter than Icelandic companies are, Icelandic companies are very laid back and you get more time off, and there's a lot of great things about working for an Icelandic company, and of course the wages are a lot better. I do kind of miss, the structure that we have in British companies. And I think in my ideal situation, if I had to keep working as well as running my business, like long term, I would love it if I could work in my industry, in jewellery for a start, but if I could work for a British company while still living in Iceland, that would be the dream for me. And maybe, work remotely somehow in the jewellery industry, maybe designing or something, and maybe just go to the UK for a few days a month. I would love something like that. That's like the dream. Another thing that has, I think, contributed to this is a few weeks ago, or maybe about a month ago, I had another family emergency in the UK. Would you believe? That's 3 in 6 years. Or 5 years even. And it was serious, but it wasn't as serious as the previous 2. There was no head injury involved this time, thankfully. But I didn't get to go to the UK. This one I would have loved to be there. Well, that's the wrong word. I wouldn't have loved to be there because I don't really like hospitals or anything anymore, and I don't want to have, these emergencies, but I wanted to be there. It was my dad. I wanted to be there for my dad when he was in hospital, but it wasn't realistic this time. Because for a start, I couldn't afford the flight. I couldn't afford to go. Where he is, it's difficult for me to get to. It's a lot harder for me to get to than it is, my hometown. And also, I have a few weeks left of school. I have to be here to finish the schoolwork because no extensions will be granted under any circumstances, we've been told. And I really need to finish. I've only got a couple of weeks to finish and I've got a lot to do, and especially my final project, which I cannot pass this course without finishing the final project, and I put a lot of money and a lot of time into this and I just can't risk not finishing that. And then finally, I just didn't think I'd be able to get the time off work. It's the summer period. My summer holiday doesn't start for a couple of weeks, and I don't really think that the company would believe me if I said that I had another family emergency this summer. Like last summer I had to extend my summer holiday because of an emergency, and this year, if I had to go earlier or have extra holiday, I kind of get the impression that they wouldn't believe me if it happened again, especially at the time of year. And I don't trust that they wouldn't fire me, basically. So that, I'm sure, contributed to this feeling, because it is really difficult being away from your friends and family, especially when something like this happens and you can't just drop your life to go, unfortunately. And then the other thing that I think really contributed a lot to this is really weird. It's minor, it's not even a huge issue, and it is pretty random. But I think that when I went to Birmingham in, I think it was April that I went, basically it was like spring there, and it was very much spring, and in Iceland it was still very much winter. And I've been thinking about that a lot recently, and in my dream home I would want like a traditional English cottage garden and English countryside life, which obviously I can't have in Iceland. Not to say I can't have a beautiful garden in Iceland, it's just not the same, what I would love. But I still want to live here. I just want I don't even want the weather from the UK. I don't even know what I want. But, what I have in my head is not realistic in Iceland. But yeah, I think what it is the seasons. It's really got to me recently, like the lack of seasons, like proper seasons, and it got to the point where earlier this week I just went to bed to go to sleep, and as soon as I got under the covers I just burst into tears. And my boyfriend was very confused and was like, what? What is going on? And I just said, it's not autumn in England, and started like just really crying. I think he was just shell shocked, and he was just like, what is going on? Like, he was like, no, Lauren, it's summer. You're in Iceland and it is summer. It is beautiful. You know, it's the best time of year. And I was just like, absolutely inconsolable. Like, it's not autumn in England. You know, just crying my eyes out for like maybe like a good 20 minutes about the fact that it's not autumn in England and we don't have a proper autumn in Iceland the same way that we do in England. And yeah, I don't know where that came from. I really don't know. I think it was just the fact that it was properly spring when I went recently, and I was like, we don't have that in Iceland. But I don't know where the autumn came from. Like, that is my favourite time of year. But yeah, like you said, it's summer in Iceland. It's lovely here. It's beautiful. But I really do miss English autumns. And it just really hit me that I don't have that. And yeah, yesterday I realised that I also won't get to see the autumn in England this year, even if I do manage to go away, because I need to renew my passport basically as soon as this summer is over, and it almost definitely won't come in time for me to go to the UK in the autumn. But hopefully next year I'll be able to have an autumn trip to the UK. Because I don't know, it just really hit me. And there was something else actually, thinking about it, that's been getting to me a lot recently. I think it's like the lack of opportunities that I feel here, because I live in a small town, and of course there are more opportunities in Reykjavik, and I don't live that far from the capital, but further than I would really want to commute to on a daily basis. Not time-wise, but like distance-wise, you know, because, you know, commuting like 45 minutes in a city like Birmingham is pretty standard, you know, it's normal, but you're not really going that far. But here, even though it's like a similar amount of time, you are driving for quite a while. You know, there's nothing around. It's not like you're getting stuck in traffic or anything. It is far, really. Yeah, and I think I was just thinking, like, you know, if I need to carry on working, I don't particularly want to be in the job that I'm in now, but there's not really any opportunities locally to me that, you know, sound that appealing, because the older I get, the less I really want to work in customer service for someone else. In my own business it's different, but, you know, I don't want to work as a waitress at someone else's restaurant or a shop assistant where I'm not setting the rules. You know, it just appeals to me less and less the older I get. And also education. I have kind of realised that I would like to further my education now, and I don't really feel like there's a lot of opportunities in Iceland to do that, especially in my field. So I am a jeweller in the UK, and I am doing, obviously, of course, I'm doing my jewellery course at the moment, you know, my refresher course, and I'm going on to the next level in September, and I will do the advanced diploma the year after that. But I really would like to do my degree or higher national diploma in jewellery, and there are not yet any distance learning options for that, and I do think that will come eventually, hopefully one day, but there isn't anywhere that I can do something like that or go like further education in jewellery internationally. And I don't really want to go to the technical college in Reykjavik because it's not realistic, it doesn't fit into my life realistically, and it's also very difficult to get in because my boyfriend is trying to do the goldsmithing course, and I think this is his 3rd year of applying in a row, and we'll find out if he gets in the next few weeks actually, so fingers crossed. And something else I would really like to do is horology, which is watchmaking and clockmaking, which also fits under the jewellery umbrella, but obviously it's a specialist skill. There are some distance learning courses for that, thankfully, and the British Horological Institute does have a distance learning course for it that I am looking into and interested in. But yeah, I actually found an article the other day about watchmaking in Iceland, because I was just curious if there was a course here for that, and it was an article written a few years ago about someone who was frustrated about the lack of education here, and that watchmakers usually go to Denmark to learn their trade, because there's not enough opportunities, and I can completely relate to that. Now, on a more positive note, over the last 2 or 3 days I have been feeling better. and kind of started to recover from this little bout of, you know, uncertainty and just considering. I genuinely in my head I was like, I want to be back in England and considering moving. But of course I wouldn't, you know, I wouldn't leave my boyfriend, I wouldn't leave my life behind, you know, I have so much more here than I ever did in England. Yeah, like yesterday I saw an article that starting this autumn, the University of Iceland will be offering their Icelandic as a second language degree, like online. I don't know why I did this, I was trying to think of the words. So people in the countryside can also access this education, because I would like to do this course. And actually a few weeks ago I did email a university in Canada, the University of Manitoba, if I could be a casual student with them, maybe like next year, because first of all I didn't want to travel to Reykjavik to do this course and it wasn't realistic with my work schedule, and also I don't meet the entry requirements for Iceland because I didn't do my A-levels in England, because I am a trades person, you know, I did an apprenticeship in jewellery, and they said yeah it should be fine. But now, from this autumn the University of Iceland will have online distance learning classes in that course, so if I manage to do an access year or something and maybe get access into the course, not anytime soon but like in a few years after I've finished my jewellery courses, or if I manage to go part-time in work, or, you know, run my business full-time, you know, if there's a chance I can fit it into my schedule in the next few years, that is something I would definitely like to look into. And I was very happy to hear that there are more options potentially in the future, hopefully, coming to us in the countryside in Iceland. And another thing that really cheered me up yesterday, I got invited out, literally just yesterday afternoon I got invited out for last night, and I was not in the mood at all. I'm not a particularly social person, you know, when it comes to nights out and things, but I just forced myself. I was like, I need to do something, so I went, and we went to a drag show that was here in Selfoss. Nothing like that ever happens here. It was so good, and it started late. It started like 9 o'clock in the evening, and I don't normally go to things that start that late because I want to be in bed by like 10 and I got home like close to midnight last night. But yeah, it was so good. It was an Icelandic drag family called Heart Attack. They were fantastic. Like, just definitely go and watch them if you can find some videos of them online. They were really, really good. It was a great performance. And yeah, and I felt a lot happier after that. It just cheered me up a lot, I guess. Just doing something, you know, having a night out was nice. And then this summer, so I think I'll go on holiday in a couple of weeks from work. I am taking 3 week-long trips abroad in the space of 5 weeks, which is a lot. You know, I'm going to be fed up travelling by the end of it, and I'm kind of hoping that I will be, because I think that I will be just relieved to be back in Iceland and just happy to be home at the end of this, and have like a refreshed appreciation for life in Iceland after this. But yeah, I'm really excited. We're going for 1 week to Whitby, which is a town in North Yorkshire, which is my favourite English town. I haven't been there since before I moved to Iceland, and I'm very excited to be going. Super, super excited. And really excited that Sirion will get to see this town as well. And then I come home for a few days and then go to Birmingham for a week, which is my hometown. I wasn't sure if I was going to go to Birmingham or not this summer, but I decided that it was important that I do, especially with the way that I feel. And my mum paid for the flight tickets, which was really lovely. So I'll be going there for a week, and then I'll come back to Iceland for a week, and then we go to Denmark, and it'll be my first time in Denmark. It's for my older brother-in-law's birthday. He's got a big birthday, and hopefully I'll get to see some Danish friends while I'm there that I met in real life, you know, and then they moved back to Denmark. So that'll be lovely. It's something to really look forward to. And I think that this will really help as well, you know, with the cabin fever feeling that I was talking about, because I'll be out of Iceland and travelling a lot in this short space of time especially. And then also this weekend, one of my friends has gone to East Iceland to look at the puffins, because it's puffin season, and I am babysitting her guinea pigs for the weekend. And I went to feed them this morning, and had little like guinea pig cuddles for like half an hour, and they're so cute. I love them. So that's cheered me up immensely as well. And actually, when I came back from the guinea pigs, I went in straight into the garden to see how our vegetable beds are doing and our flower beds. And there were lots of seedlings coming up, and our radishes, I think, are doing very well. And then after this video, I am going to go to my father-in-law's to go to my workshop to do some schoolwork. Finally, it's quite late for me to be going there now. I was planning to go a few hours ago. But I will also be checking the vegetable bed there and seeing how that is coming along. So yeah, things are starting to feel happier now. But I know that some people who live here, when they have this feeling of overwhelm and like Iceland is too much and getting to them, they need to take a break, and they will actually leave Iceland, you know, for a few months at least, and go and work either in their home countries or find another country to go to. But that isn't an option for me, of course, because of Brexit. So at least until I get my Icelandic citizenship, which hopefully I will, maybe within 2 years' time. You know, 2 years after this video, hopefully I'll have the citizenship. Fingers crossed, we'll see. But yeah, that's not an option for me because of Brexit. And yeah, I don't think I would anyway, because I can't really just leave my life behind now. You know, I have my boyfriend here, I have my business, I have so much here. And Iceland has brought me a lot. You know, I've had opportunities, even though I feel like there isn't a lot of opportunities here. You know, I have had opportunities that wouldn't have been available to me in the UK, such as the AWE course that I've just finished. You know, that's not available in the UK. The course that I'm doing at the moment and that I'm progressing on to in September, I would never have been able to afford that on British wages, even though that is a British course. You know, I could never have afforded that. And actually, I got a huge refund from my union, like last week, because I didn't know that I could apply for international courses for my union, but I just tried it. And they refunded me, I think it was about £800, which is insane. It's like almost a third of the course. It might have been £600, but it was a lot of money anyway. Yeah, so I wouldn't have had those opportunities. I also would never have started this YouTube channel if I was in the UK, of course. And yeah, so Iceland has brought me a lot, and like I said, overall I love my life in Iceland. I am not planning to move to the UK, and this is not me complaining about Iceland. This is just that occasionally a lot of people here get this feeling of needing a break, and Iceland really get into them. And it's not as simple as just moving back to your home country or whatever people tell you sometimes. Yeah. So I just wanted to get this off my chest and just make a video about this, because I always want to give like a realistic view of my experience in Iceland, and I hope that does come across in these videos. I hope I don't make it sound like this perfect utopia that, you know, the media often portrays, like international media often portrays. And yeah, so there is a lot of good things in Iceland, but there are also sometimes bad times that you go through. And yeah, that's about it for this video. So, like I said, let me know in the comments below if you've experienced this, you know, this like feeling of where you are getting to you. And please subscribe if you haven't already. And welcome to all my new subscribers. It's nice to have you here. And like this video, share this video, you know, just do everything that I always ask you to do. Cheeky little promotion. Yes, and please check out my Ko-fi page if you would like to support me and buy me a coffee. Again, no obligation necessary, but it's very nice when you do that. And I will see you in the next video. Have a lovely week. Bye.